Today's December 8th, 3.6 equations of parallel lines. So it's be just a little bit different from yesterday, but pretty much the same thing. So draw these two out. All right. So let's look at this. The one on the left, what kind of slope is that? Undefined. Good. So if it's straight up and down, it's always undefined. Okay. So make note that undefined slopes are always x equals something. Okay. So the equation when you see an undefined slope is simply going to be x equals, and then you look at where it's crossing the x-axis. In this case, where's it crossing the x-axis? -4. So the answer to the equation to this one is just going to be x equals -4. And that's it. Gene, you getting this written down? Now the other one, what kind of slope is this? Zero slope. So zero slope is always just going to be y equals. And then you look where it crosses the y. Where's it crossing the y at? -3. So that's just y equals -3. Now the reason that one works like that, what letter is slope on y equals mx plus b? Not b. M. The m is a slope. So if I have y equals mx plus b, y equals, and if our 0 is m, 0x minus 3, what happens at 0 and the x? They go away, right? Because 0 times x is 0. So that leaves us with y equals -3. So see how that works? Okay. Any questions with this one? Anybody still copying? All right. So write down these 6 different equations. Don't worry, you don't have to write the instructions. Just make sure they're kind of grouped together, the 2 by 2 by 2. All right, so what do we remember? What do we know about parallel slopes? What are they to each other? They're what? They're even? They're the same. That's what I'm looking for. So say if I have a slope of -5, what's the parallel slope going to be? -5. If I have a slope of 1/4, what's the parallel slope? What is it? 1/4. Okay. If I have a perpendicular slopes, what's the difference in those? How do we know they're perpendicular? They're flipped and they're opposite signs, right? So if I have a slope of -5, what's the perpendicular slope? 1/5. Because if I have -5, perpendicular would be positive 1/5. Okay. So, and then neither it's just not any of those. Okay. So when we look at these, we said that on our equation y equals mx plus b, that the m is a slope, right? If m is a slope, it's always connected to that x right there. So we always look at the number that's right in front of the x, and it'll tell us what the slope is. On y equals -2x plus 1, what is the slope on that one? -2, right? What about the one below it? What's the slope? M equals -1/2. Okay. Now when I look at that, are those parallel? Are they the exact same? No. Are they perpendicular, flipped in opposite signs? No. So what is this one? Neither. Jerry, you getting this written down? All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. Jerry, what's the slope on the next one? That top one there. Y equals 3x minus 4.
Slope?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be 3x?
So you don't include the x. It would just be 3. So m equals 3. Okay. Corbin, what's the one below that? What's the slope? 3. M equals 3. And then Xander, are these parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Parallel because they're exact same. Boom. All right, Christian, The y equals 5x plus 2. What's the slope? Say 5 over 6. 5 over 6. And then m equals negative 6 over 5. Okay. And Jasmine, is this parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Perpendicular, because they're flipped and they have different signs. All right, so pretty much the same thing like we've been doing with those slopes. It's just that instead we got to be able to pull them out of the equation. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Anybody still copying or anything? All right, write what's in the white box and then just make note that we want the parallel. So the first thing we've got to do is find the original slope. Caden, when we look at this equation here, what's the original slope there?
Negative 1/3.
So it's the m equals negative 1/3. All right. So the next thing is to find, because we want the parallel line. So in order to find the parallel line, we've got to find the parallel slope. So where to, Alejandro, what's the parallel slope to negative 1/3? Just same thing, it's negative 1/3. All right. Now we found slope. What's the other thing we have to find to be able to write an equation? The y-intercept, okay? And what's the letter for y-intercept, class?
Y.
No. B.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so B is the y-intercept. So find B, which is the y-intercept. Okay. So remember, in order to do that, we have to write out our equation. Y equals mx plus b.
Wouldn't it just be 10?
No. Okay. So remember, we plug in what we know. We use this point here to find for the x and the y. And then we use our parallel slope here for the m. Okay. So what's the y going to be, class? Negative 8, because we pulled it from that point there. What's the m? Negative 1 over 3. Times, what's the x? 0 plus b. Everybody see how we did that? Okay. So let's solve for b. Negative 8 is equal to, what's negative 1/3 times 0? 0 plus b. So what does b equal? Negative 8. Okay. And then the last step is to simply plug in m and b, right? In our final equation. So y equals mx plus b. What do we do with the y?
Leave it as Y.
Leave it as y. What's the m?
Negative 1 over negative 1/3.
Negative 1 over 3. What's the x? Leave it alone. And then what's that b?
Negative 8.
Minus 8. There's our perpendicular equation. All right, guys. Write what's in this box and write through the parallel. All right. So we want an equation line that's parallel to this one. So this is the equation they gave me. It was x equals 8. What is the original slope here? What's the slope when it's x equals something? We talked about this at the beginning.
0.
Not 0.
Fine.
It's undefined. Y'all remember, guys? X equals something is undefined slope. What is the parallel slope going to be then?
8.
All right, what do we know about parallel slopes? They're the same. So if the first slope's undefined, what's the other parallel slope going to be? Undefined. Garrett, pull your mask up. Okay, so I got my slope figured out. Now here's a good thing about whenever it's just an undefined slope. For the new equation, we know it's going to be what? It's going to be x equals. Yeah, the new equation is going to be undefined, so it's just be x equals something. Okay. So the way to think about this is the old one was x equals 8. Pay attention, guys. The old one's x equals 8, so it's over here somewhere, right? X equals 8. The other one is got to go through this point, -5, -11. So what do you think the equation is going to be? X equals what? Not -11, because that's the y. What's over here? -5. So your new equation is just going to be x equals -5. And if you were to plot that out, x -5 would be over here somewhere. Okay. So you see how that's parallel, but it still goes through that point they want you to go through? So that's all you do there. Any questions? Write this one down. All right, there's the last one. So we got to find the original slope. Where did I leave off on? Emerson. Emerson, when we look at this one, what's the original slope? -1. Guys, when there's not a number in front of the x, what do you assume that's there? A 1. And this has got a negative, so we know it's -1. Okay, so the original slope is -1. Dylan, what's the parallel slope to -1? -1 as well. All right, so we found slope. What's the other thing we have to find now? Y-intercept, which is what letter?
6.
B. What letter? 6? 6 is not a letter. Okay. So y equals mx plus b. Remember, we use this point over here for the x and y. So Gene, what's the y going to be? 6. Jessica, what's the slope going to be? Nope. What does letter represent slope? Nope. Just M. Just M. M and X are two different ones. Okay? So M represents slope. So what's my M got to be? No, it's not 4. Yes, it's the slope we found. Look, it's the slope we found. -1. Okay. Garrett, what's my x? 2.
I think we said that, though. I said 1x.
Yeah, but it wasn't 1x. Okay. All right, so we're solving for b now. 6 is equal to class -1 times 2. -2 plus b. Now what do I do? Add a 2 on both sides. B equals 8. Okay. What's the last step I do? What 2 letters should I plug into? M and B, right? Okay. All right. So let's plug in for M and B. Y equals mx plus b. So, Alyssa, what do I do with what do I plug in for y on the final? Nope. What do we do with the y on the final one? Leave it alone. Good. Chad, what's my M? What's that? So it's the new slope we found, the parallel slope. What was that? -1. Brent, what do I do with x? Keep it. And then Alexis, what's my b? 8. Okay, so you can write it as y equals negative 1x plus 8 or y is equal to negative x plus 8. Either one would be right. Any questions with that?
No. We have time for discussion.
Okay. All right, real quick, just so you know for your work tomorrow, because I won't be here,
Where are you going?
I've got a STAR test.
Oh, that.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, like